They were supposed to protect their children. Instead, they became their killers.
What's your thoughts on how Lisa is not alive now? What?
There are mothers whose lives were as almost horrifying as their crimes. Let's start off with Andrea Yates. Andrea Yates drowned all 5 of her children in the bathtub after years of severe postpartum psychosis. On June 20, 2001, the 36-year-old former nurse waited for her husband Rusty to leave work. She then drowned 6-month-old Mary, 2-year-old Luke, 3-year-old Paul, 5-year-old John, and 7-year-old Noah inside their Houston area home. Is this real life right now? Andrea called 911 herself, then told Rusty he needed to come home. When police arrived, she immediately confessed. Investigators learned she had previously attempted suicide, experienced hallucinations, and undergone repeated psychiatric hospitalizations. Doctors had also warned that another pregnancy could make her condition worse. Andrea was convicted of capital murder in 2002 and sentenced to life, but the verdict was overturned after expert witnesses gave false testimonies. At the 2006 retrial, she was found not guilty by reason of insanity and was committed to a state psychiatric hospital. Susan Smith. Susan Smith drowned her 2 sons, then spent 9 days on national television begging for their return while blaming an imaginary carjacker. Someone came and carjacked us and took the kid. On October 25th, 1994, the 23-year-old rolled her car into John D. Long Lake, and this is in South Carolina, with 3-year-old Michael and 14-month-old Alexander strapped inside. Susan told police a black man had hijacked the vehicle and kidnapped the boys. Why is she racist, first of all? And this actually triggered a national-wide search. But her story kept changing. She eventually confessed that she allowed the car to roll into the lake and she just watched it. She actually watched it disappear in the lake with her kids inside. Prosecutors argued that Susan acted after a man she wanted told her he did not want a relationship with someone who had children. Well, she was convicted of 2 murders in 1995 and was sentenced to life. In her first parole hearing in November of 2024, the board unanimously denied her release. She remains eligible to apply again every 2 years. Let's hope that it keeps getting denied. Diane Downs. Diane Downs shot her 3 children, killing one, and blamed a mysterious stranger. But get this, one of the kids survived. Her surviving daughter exposed the truth. On May 19th, 1983, Diane drove 8-year-old Christy, 7-year-old Cheryl, and 3-year-old Danny to a hospital in Springfield, Oregon. All 3 of them had shot at close range. Cheryl died, Christy suffered a stroke, and Danny was permanently paralyzed from the waist down. Diane claimed a bushy-haired hitchhiker had tried to steal her car and opened fire. Well, detectives found contradictions throughout her entire story. Then Christy recovered enough to identify her own mother as the shooter. Prosecutors said Diana wanted to be with a married man who did not want children. In 1984, she was convicted of murder and attempted murder, and she was sentenced to life plus 50 years. She escaped from prison in 1987, but was captured 10 days later. Absolutely insane story. Diane still maintains her innocence to this day. Theresa Knorr tortured her 6 children for years, murdered 2 of her daughters, and forced the survivors to dispose of their sisters' bodies. Inside the family Sacramento home, Theresa used beatings, cigarette burns, starvations, and psychological abuse to control them. In 1984, 17-year-old Susan was shot during one of Theresa's punishments. Theresa refused to take her to the hospital and allegedly attempted to remove the bullet herself. After Susan died, Theresa ordered her son to help take the body away, cover it with gasoline, and set it on fire. The following year, Theresa accused 20-year-old Shelley of being pregnant and having a sexually transmitted infection. She beat her and locked her inside of a closet without food or water until she died. Her crimes remained hidden until Theresa's youngest daughter, Terry, contacted police in 1993. Faced with testimony from her surviving children, Theresa pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder and received 2 consecutive life sentences. Now we have Diane O'Dell. Diane O'Dell murdered 3 newborn babies, sealed their bodies inside boxes, and transported them from state to state for more than 20 years. Prosecutors said Diane gave birth to the infants between 1982 and 1985 in Sullivan County, which is located in New York, then smothered them because they had been conceived outside of marriage. She wrapped their bodies in blankets and plastic bags, placed them in cardboard boxes, and kept them throughout multiple moves. The secret was exposed in 2009 2003 after Diane stopped paying for a storage unit in Stratford, Arizona. When its contents were auctioned, the buyer opened up the box and discovered the mummified remains. Imagine that. Imagine being that buyer. Diane insisted the babies had been stillborn, but prosecutors argued that evidence showed that they were alive. She was convicted of 3 counts of second-degree murder and was sentenced to 75 years to life. Wanda Holloway. Wanda Holloway tried to arrange a murder so her daughter would have a better chance of joining a junior high cheerleading squad. In 1991, the Channelview, Texas mother allegedly targeted Verna Heath, whose daughter Amber had beaten Wanda's daughter Shannon for a spot on the team. So she wants her daughter to have the spot. So what does she do? She gets rid of the competition. Prosecutors said Wanda believed Amber would quit cheerleading if her mother was killed. She asked her former brother-in-law, Terry Harper, to find a hitman and reportedly offered diamond earrings as payment. Harper instead contacted police and secretly recorded their conversations. She was convicted of solicitation of capital murder, but the verdict was overturned because the jury misconduct. She later entered a no contest plea, received a 10-year sentence, and served 6 months before being released on probation. Casey Anthony. I'm sure you guys have heard this one. Casey Anthony waited 31 days to report her 2-year-old daughter missing. She then blamed the nanny who did not exist. Kaylee Anthony disappeared in June of 2008, but police were not contacted until July 15th when her grandmother Cindy called 911 and said that Casey's car smelled like a dead body that had been inside. She was right. Investigators discovered Casey had lied about working at Universal Studios and invented a babysitter called Zanny the Nanny. In December, Kaylee's skeleton remains was found in the woods less than half a mile from Anthony's family's home, and her body was found with duct tape near the skull. Prosecutors argued that Casey killed Kaylee to escape the responsibilities of motherhood. This is actually a true story. People get in this way of thinking. Makes no sense for a normal person. Well, the defense claimed that Kaylee had accidentally drowned, and Casey's father helped conceal the death. In 2011, the jury acquitted Casey of murder, but convicted her of lying to law enforcement. No one has ever been held criminally responsible for Kaylee's death. Really sad ending. Mitchelle Blair. Mitchelle Blair murdered 2 of her children nearly a year apart, hid their bodies in a freezer, and forced her surviving children to live beside it. The crimes were discovered in March of 2015 when court officers evicted Mitchelle from her Detroit apartment, opened the freezer, and found 13-year-old Stony Blair and 9-year-old Stephen Barry wrapped in plastic. Mitchelle admitted to killing Stephen in 2012 and Stony in 2013, a year apart. She claimed they had sexually abused her younger sibling, but investigators said the allegations was never substantiated. Prosecutors said that Stephen starved, beaten, burned with scalding water, and suffocated with plastic bags before passing away. Months later, Stony was the subject to similar abuse, beaten and starved until he passed away. Their bodies remained in the freezer for more than 2 years. Michelle's surviving children later described walking past it every day while living in constant fear. I just cannot imagine. In 2015, Mitchelle pleaded guilty to murder and was sentenced to life without parole.